Today we are going to discuss about hypothyroidism and what is the kind of impact it is having on your life. But before that, if you're enjoying my videos, I request you to please like, share and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to press the bell notification icon which helps you get notified whenever there's a video being posted so that you don't miss out on important videos about the diseases. So as I referred to, hypothyroidism is the topic of discussion and what is the kind of impact it may be having in your life. When we refer to hypothyroidism, what we are essentially referring to is a thyroid disease which people normally claim as that they are having the thyroid. So this is a misnomer. Thyroid is a gland which is situated in the neck region of each and every individual. And this thyroid gland produces a hormone which is called as thyroxine hormone. It is available in the body in two forms, T4 and T3. Essentially, T4 and T3 combined together are the thyroxine hormones. And when the level of thyroxine hormone in the blood reduces, it is called as hypothyroidism. Hypo meaning less and thyroidism, less thyroxine hormone in the blood. We need to understand that thyroxine hormone is a metabolic hormone. Metabolism means that it controls all the activities of the body. Thyroxine hormone has action on all the cells of the body, all the organs of the body, and helps maintain the metabolic rate of the body. And essentially, if this level of thyroxine hormone is reduced, it will affect the metabolism of body. So essentially, people with hypothyroidism tend to have symptoms and signs related to reduced metabolism, which is essentially weight gain without increase in appetite. So appetite has not increased, but still people may have increase in weight. The reason is the metabolic activity of body is reduced. Some people report to have tiredness, weakness, letharginess. Some people have loss of hair, dry skin. There are other symptoms like alopecia is a technical term for loss of hair of the body. Some people tend to have constipation. There are people who report to having poor memory or loss of mental structure or some kind of instability in concentration. There are people who also report to have difficulty or altered menstrual cycle, especially the women. Obviously, menstrual cycle is related to women, and women who have hypothyroidism tend to have altered menstrual cycles. And yes, what is also important is few people have cold intolerance. What is cold intolerance? Basically, they will not be able to sustain in a cold environment. They will not be able to tolerate. The reason is the metabolic activity of the body produces heat, and which helps a person in a cold weather. However, people with hypothyroidism have less of metabolic activity and hence are sensitive to cold environment, and we refer to this as technically as cold intolerance. Few people also have some swelling in the body which is called as myxedema. Myxedema basically puffiness of the eyes, puffiness of the face. There can be swelling in the legs, especially the ankle region. So these are some areas where there may be swelling, which is basically called as myxedema, which is the swelling in hypothyroidism. And there is one more thing which hypothyroidism causes, which is, or what low levels of thyroxine causes, is bradycardia, which is reduces the heart rate. Now we need to understand that hypothyroidism is found most commonly in women. There is no specific reason that medical science has identified that hypothyroidism is a disease of women, but yes, it is found mostly in women, especially in the younger to adult age group. Now, when we have understood the symptoms and signs of hypothyroidism, we need to understand how do you identify that someone has hypothyroidism. Especially the symptoms and signs that we have just discussed give an indication towards it. However, the blood tests are generally confirmatory. In the blood tests, we have a thyroid function test, which is basically establishing the T3 levels, the T4 levels, and the TSH levels in the blood. A reduced T3 and T4 level, or T3 and T4 level, and an elevated TSH level is the most common finding in people who have hypothyroidism. In some cases, TSH may be elevated, but T3 and T4 may be at normal blood levels. This is also a case of hypothyroidism. Now, I have discussed about thyroxine hormone T3 and T4, but where does this TSH come from? So, to understand this, we need to understand the physiology of thyroid hormone production. As I referred that thyroid hormone, which is thyroxine hormone, is produced by thyroid gland, which is situated in the neck. Now, what triggers this thyroid gland to release or produce thyroxine hormones is the pituitary gland, which is situated in the forehead, which produces TSH hormone, which is called as the thyroid stimulating hormone. There is another hormone, which is thyrotropin releasing hormone produced by hypothalamus. We will not discuss this right now, but I will just explain what happens is hypothalamus produces this TRH hormone, which gives a positive signal to pituitary gland, which in response to TRH hormone produces TSH, which is the thyroid stimulating hormone. And this thyroid stimulating hormone gives a positive feedback to the thyroid gland to produce thyroxine hormones. Now, when the body produces too much of thyroxine hormones, it gives a negative feedback to the pituitary and the hypothalamus to stop the production of TRH and TSH, to not give more signal to thyroid gland. However, when thyroxine hormone is reduced in the blood, it gives a signal to pituitary and the hypothalamus that the body is not having sufficient levels of thyroxine hormone. As a response of this, what pituitary gland will do is produce more of TSH hormone, more of thyroid stimulating hormone, and press the thyroid gland to overproduce or increase the production of thyroxine hormone. And hence, in some cases of hypothyroidism, we may find that the thyroxine hormone is at a normal level. However, TSH level, which is the level of thyroid stimulating hormone released by the pituitary gland, is increased as a result of feedback from the thyroxine hormone that the levels are low in the body. You need to produce more of TSH. So this is the feedback loop mechanism of the thyroxine hormone production. And this is how it is important on the blood test parameters that yes, that TSH elevation and T3 or T4 reduction is a sign of hypothyroidism. Now, what exactly causes this hypothyroidism? There are a lot of causes which have been listed. The causes go to congenital hypothyroidism, refer to viral infections, some drugs, some medications. But what we will discuss is two important causes of hypothyroidism. The first is Hashimoto's thyroiditis or thyroiditis. What happens in this case is that the body cells are producing some kinds of antibodies which damage the thyroid gland. So body's own reaction is producing some antibodies which is damaging this thyroid gland. And this refers to as thyroiditis because there is inflammation, damage to the thyroid gland. And when the thyroid gland damages, there is reduction in the production of thyroxine hormone or the thyroid hormone. But we need to know that in the initial stages of this thyroiditis, when the body's own antibodies are damaging the thyroid gland, there can be a increased production of thyroxine hormone, because the thyroxine hormone that is within the cells of the thyroid gland is being released. So Hashimoto's thyroiditis may have symptoms of hyperthyroidism, which is increased thyroxine hormones in the blood in the initial stages. And this may sometimes be confused by clinicians or doctors as a person is having hyperthyroidism or increased levels of thyroxine in blood. Whereas on the contrary, because the thyroid gland is getting damaged, there is a temporary increase in the thyroxine hormone, which eventually will proceed onto hypothyroidism or reduced thyroxine hormones when the gland is completely or more damaged. How do we identify this apart from the thyroid function test? We do a TPO, anti-TPO antibodies, which are basically an indicator of the immune damage of the thyroid gland. The second most common cause of hypothyroidism is iodine deficiency. Iodine deficiency is found in the areas, in the hilly areas where the food or the diet is restricted or having less of iodine, because iodine is very important, one of the most important parts in the production of thyroxine hormone. And hence, if there is reduced iodine in the diet, there is reduced nutrition of iodine, or the iodine content in the body is lowered down, what happens is goiter or iodine deficiency, and this iodine deficiency causes hypothyroidism, because iodine is an important part of the thyroxine hormone. So yes, it is recommended that you have salt which is iodized, which is a very common available salt. That iodized salt is to be consumed by people. The reason is so that your iodine content requirement of the body is met for thyroxine hormone production. So these are the two important aspects or the two important causes of hypothyroidism. Now, when we have discussed hypothyroidism and what are the causes, we'll just touch upon a little bit about its treatment. As such, you might have guessed. If you want to pause the video and guess what can be the treatment is simply giving thyroxine hormone externally in form of medication. What we essentially give is a T4 thyroxine, which is in the form of Thyronorm or Eltroxin, properly available brands in the market, but it's nothing but T4 thyroxine hormone. T4 breaks down into T3 in the body. T3 is the active component of the thyroxine hormone, which exerts the metabolic effect of thyroxine hormone, and this is the major part of the treatment. And the dosage of this thyroxine hormone is titrated by your doctor seeing the thyroid function test. So once you start your thyroid medication, you should always consult your doctor and get your thyroid function tests done every 6 months to see whether you're responding properly to your thyroid medication. And a small disclaimer over here that whatever I have explained in the video is meant for your knowledge as a layman. It is not meant to start or stop any medication. To start or stop any medication, you need to consult your doctor, your treating clinician, because what I believe is, to be in compliance with your doctor, you need to understand the science behind your disease and the medication. And that's what I am here for, telling you the science behind the disease, the treatment science, and what goes behind the scenes in terms of how hypothyroidism is having an impact on your life and what are the signs and symptoms of hypothyroidism. So friends, I hope this was a short video on hypothyroidism, and if it was interesting for you, please do like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to watch my next video. Thank you.